mostly glute and core workout today. So I'm going to start with my warm-up. Get some songs going here. Not going to talk a whole lot during the warm-up because it's a lot of bouncing around. Let me get some music going here. Hold on, let's see. Which song? This one's pretty upbeat. Let's start with this one. All right, just a little warm up. I'm gonna start with a little jog. I'm gonna go to a jumping jack. I'm gonna do my little twist. Just getting a little warmed up, getting the blood flowing to all my muscles. I'm gonna go into a little butt kick. Make sure I'm not kicking the pole. I'm gonna go back to my jog. And then to the jumping jacks in another minute. Jumping jacks. And to a butt kick. And back to the jog. One more set of jumping jacks. Almost done with the warm-up. Well, this part of the warm-up anyway. All right, then we're head up and down. Cool. Fan action. And then I'm going to go right to left to my head. And I'll look at the chat. As soon as my head's not moving, it's a little hard to read when you're moving your head. Doing about 10 each way. I'm terrible at counting. So we'll say, maybe that's 10. And then we'll tilt. So if you're just coming in, we're going to work on some core and glutes today. Joined by my accomplice here. And then we're going to circle all the way around. About 5 each way. This is 3. And the other way. All right, let me check the chat. Who's in here? Philip, hello to you. If you want to, you can tell me in the chat where you're tuning in from. I'll go first. I am in Florida, South Florida. And we had a couple nice cool days, but it's back to being pretty hot, honestly. And then we're gonna go forward. I guess I can't really complain. considering I see all the snow everywhere, and it makes me glad I'm not there. Although I do prefer a little cool weather at this point in my life rather than the really hot weather. And it does get very hot in Florida. But I'm originally from Illinois, so I did grow up with lots of snow and ice. Tried to live in Pennsylvania as an adult for a few months, and then I realized that snow is no longer for me. It's just not. It's fun as a kid when you can play in it and build little, igloo huts out of snow. But when you have to shove it off your car and then your car starts rusting from the snow, that's not fun. And it's so dangerous to drive in. I heard there was a really bad pileup, what was it, in Michigan or Minnesota or something? Somebody was telling me like 100-car pileup or something the other day. It's crazy. I'm doing about 10 of these circles, and I'm going to move on to my wrists. This is part of my warm-up that I do all the time. I think I have a video on here. I have kind of like a light impact version and a high impact. This was the high impact today. This part's always the same though. I do this for any workout that I do. Range of motion, starting at my head, through all my joints. I just, something always hurts if I don't do this. So, I always do it just to be on the safe side. The older you get, the more injury prevention is very important. Because if you get injured, then you can't work out. And that's not fun. So, I'm very into injury prevention. I do a lot of stuff on my hands, so I always make sure I warm up my wrists. So this time I'm going to come up with my fingers and then make a fist. If you do this one, you will feel it in your forearms with a quickness. Wearing some bright pink today. I don't wear it often, but I do like bright pink. It is very bright. Alright, and then I'm going to do a few circles here. About 5 each direction. And then I'm going to do some little scapular warm-ups. About 10 each way. And then the other way. So, if you've watched some of my shorts, you know that I've done a cleanse a couple months ago. I think it was like mid-December when I did that. I guess it wasn't a couple months ago. Maybe it was before that. I don't remember. It was around that time. And I've lost about 20 pounds since then. However, I was sick for about almost 2 weeks recently and wasn't able to do like my full workouts. And then I went out of town this past weekend for my birthday. And even though I don't really feel like I drank that much, I got very sick off the alcohol. So I've been set back a little bit the past couple weeks because of that. Alright, that's probably about 10-ish. And then I'm going to do a little twist. Warming up my back now. About 5 of these each side. Just getting a little rotation of the spine going. Alright, I'm going to take it down to the ground and warm up some cat-cows. Or warm up doing some cat-cows, I guess. Oh, here he comes. Downward dog for him. He's actually begging for food right now because he normally gets fed at 5 for dinner, and it's like 4:30 right now. And if I'm home at this time, he usually starts harassing me around 3:30 or 4 for his dinner. He never used to be like that. I used to have a hard time getting him to eat enough. And now as he's getting older, it's never enough food for him. But then he can't tolerate walks like he used to, so I don't want him to get fat. The vet already says he's obese. About 10 of these. Yeah, he's sniffing around the bowl trying to get dinner right now. We'll serve out the ribs for 5 each way. There you go, drink some water. Jog a little bit, buddy. 2 more. And the other way. Aye. All right, and I'm gonna circle the hip. Last part of the warm-up. So we're going to do a 15-minute workout today as usual. That's just kind of the length that I really enjoy. So I usually do that. 5 different exercises, 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off in between the exercises. And then I'm going to do the other side. Yesterday I did my weekly 4-mile run walk. I usually try to do the first 2 miles straight running and then sprint and walk a little bit the last 2 miles. All right, that should do it. Stretch my hamstrings out a little bit. All right, so when you get, this weight might be a little too much. I'm just gonna put it there. Where's the other one? I'm looking for my lighter weight. Let me see if it's in the other room. Ow! There it is. And then when I get one more thing, I should put these back here. And my ball. Alright, so this is a 10-pound Oogie ball. I think I'm using that today. Let's take a look. And you're kind of far away, so we're gonna get closer. We don't need to get the whole pull in today, right? Because we're not doing pull. That should be good. Okay, so. All right, I'm just reviewing my, oh yeah, I do need a band. Yes, okay, now it's all coming back to me. I'm gonna grab one more thing, little exercise band. Okay, so, I usually do this medium resistance, but I think we're gonna get a little crazy today and do the next level up, which is strong. There's also heroic. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. We're gonna do strong. We're gonna try that, and I'll keep the other one handy in case I feel like I'm dying. All right, I'm gonna move the monkey and the doggy stairs. Some water. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start my interval timer. I'm just gonna go over the exercises as I go through the workout here. Well, maybe I'll tell you what day real quick. 5 exercises. First one is gonna be a squat jump for 5 and then a pulse for 5. So squat jump 5, pulse for 5. Second one is going to be a weighted toe touch with the Oogie ball. Third one is going to be a glute lift with the weight on my hips. And I'm just doing this from the ground. Usually I'll get something and I'll be up on that to do my hip thrusts. But we're actually going to be doing it from the ground in a bridge pose. Because I want to really focus on the top part of the exercise, top part of the range of motion. Number 4 is going to be what I call a Pilates roll down. I don't know if that's a real term or not, but I'll show you what it is. And then number 5 is going to be a clamshell with the band. That's the plan. Stand. Okay, so let's get interval timer going, and it always takes me a second to get from the interval timer to the song. So we lose a few seconds of the exercise, but that's okay. Actually, the songs are playing already. Maybe I don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. We're just gonna go back to the top so we don't run out of songs. And then we'll go back to the interval timer and start. 50 seconds for the squat jump. Hopefully I don't hit my head on the little thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we do 5 pulses. Try to get those hips low. And then back to the squat jumps. And then pulses. Squat jumps. And a pulse. Feeling it. Squat jump. Oh, feeling it. Pulse. 5 seconds. All right, weighted toe touch. And I did want to throw down a towel. Okay, here's the towel. I don't like to sweat on my mat. Weighted toe touch. With the ball. Here we go. Toes up. 15 more seconds. Last one. Next up is the glute lift, or that's what I call it. It's actually hip thrust. We're going to try the heavy weight. Doesn't work out, try something else. So I'm tucking my pelvis to start and then lifting. Yeah, that's not too bad. Feels pretty good. Halfway there. Squeezing at the top. 10 more seconds. It's not time yet. It's just not time for you to eat. Ooh. And there's the ding. And actually, I'm going to see if I can turn this so you guys can see the timer yourselves in case you're wondering how much time is left. How about that? Oh yeah, what's next? Pilates roll down. So the goal here is to have your hands up and the lower controlled all the way down. And then same thing all the way up. For me, today's a good day. I do have a torn disc in my back, so it just depends on the day, how much pain I'm having in my back, but today feels pretty good. So controlling it, no momentum. If you're not able to do it, the other thing you can do is use behind your legs like this, or I like to have my hands here. If it's too hard, I'm just putting as little pressure in my arms as possible to be able to lift myself without momentum. Okay, next up is the clamshell. I'm going for the stronger band today. We'll see how this goes. My butt's on fire tomorrow. It's your fault. All right, I'm on the side, and I'm lifting the top leg up. Ooh, it is stronger, that's for sure. Making those muscles work harder. See my timer, 33 seconds. Woo! This thing is amazing, by the way. I got that recently, and it has changed my life. Or if I live stream off the iPad, or even if I'm just playing music like this, it's so nice. Oh, I feel the burn. Squeeze at the top. Ugh. 5 seconds. Oh God. Okay, back to the top, which is our squat, jump, and pulse. So I'm gonna scoot this to the side. I'm gonna hit my face on this thing. Squat, jump, 5. And then pulse for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squat, jump. 1, 2, 3. And then pulse. I thought this was gonna be easier than squat jumps, but it hurts just as much. 1, 2, 4. 17 seconds. Oh, I need a little break. I'm feeling that in the quads. That's a lot. I'll try to stand over here so you can see the timer. I'm trying to get a few more in. And a pulse. Okay, never mind, there's the ding. Next we have the weighted toe touch. Back to my towel. And my oogie. Squeeze at the top. Halfway there. Seconds. One or two more. Excellent. Next up is the hip thrust with the weight in a bridge pose. Oh, put it right there. I like to hold my hands there to stabilize it. Make sure your pelvis is not arched. It's tucked the whole time. Push through your heels to really activate your glutes. Here he comes again. Yes? Can I help you, sir? It's not time for your dinner. It's just not. But don't worry, I will feed you. I'm not trying to starve you. You don't look like you're starving. Maybe you need to do the workout too, Mama. I think so. It's a little awkward. Do not lick me. Your breath smells like dead fish. And that's the end. Next up is Pilates roll down. Just remember, if this is too hard, you can have your hands doing minimal work, and I'm up here. No momentum. Stop. Halfway there. No. Excuse me, sir. Oh. Excuse you. Okay. Next up is the clamshell. Get my booty band on. Strong booty band. And doing the opposite side this round, squeezing at the top. And I'll check the chat. After the interval training timer is done, we've got one more round after this. Last round. And on the last round, I'm going to be on my back for this exercise and doing both legs at the same time. Squeeze it. Woo. Okay. Back to the beginning with the squat jumps. Thank God it's the last round of those, because they suck in a good way. 2 more, and then pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. And pulse. Jump. And pulse. 10 more seconds. I need a break. That's hard. Okay. Jumps. Pulse. Just kidding. All right, next we have the weighted toe touch. And I'm actually going to do something a little different this round. You can stick with the toe touch. I'm going to do an overhead lift thingy. So I'm going to have my feet down. Lifting and tapping. Seconds. Five more. There's the ding. I think next is the hip thrust with the weight. Here we go. Tuck the pelvis, always. Lift and squeeze. I wish I could do more weight with these, but I'm afraid to because of my back injury. When I put too much pressure on my spine is when it really flares up. So even this would be through my pelvis. I don't know. I might try it at the gym, but usually I don't do more than like 30 or 40 pounds for this. I'd like to be able to do more weight, but as I said before, injury prevention is always the most important. All right, and then we've got the Pilates roll down. So, here we go. Control it all the way down, all the way up. I'm having a little hard time going up now, so I'm going to add the hands, and no hands down. Halfway there. You just really want to avoid using momentum with this, so it should not look like this. There's no rocking. You're controlling the movement starting at the top of your abs. Momentum is cheating. All right, clamshell supine this time. Oh my man. All right, so I'm gonna stay on my back. That is supine. And then we're gonna squeeze it up. Squeeze a little bit further up. Not going very far, let's be honest. tough. I wonder what the throwed one is like. Actually, I'm going to separate my feet a little bit more. It's tempting to arch my back, so I'm trying to resist that urge. 10 more seconds, last exercise. Feels good. All right, that's the last one. It should be the last exercise. Let's make sure.
Activity completed.
Yes. Okay. All right, let me check the chat and then we'll stretch. Handstand man likes my dog. Yep. He's only giving me attention right now because he wants his dinner. It's not out of love. He's kind of just trying to be annoying, honestly. All right, so I'm gonna start with my hip flexors, stretch. Actually, we're gonna do it from the mat, I lied. So I like to start up real tall and then tucking my pelvis and then going down. You're not gonna go as far down, but it's a much better stretch for the front of your hip. And I like to hold my stretches for about 5 deep breaths. That's usually about 30 seconds or so. Usually you want to hold stretches for 30 seconds to a minute. And deep breathing makes a huge difference with your stretching. Huge difference. It allows the muscles to relax and deepen into the stretch. So we're starting real tall, lifting up to the top of the head, tucking the pelvis under, and then coming forward from there. So as you can see, I don't come forward very much once I've done all that, and that's fine because I still feel a really good stretch. Every exhale, I'm going to try to lower a little bit more. All right, definitely going to stretch my quads since I did all those squat jumps. He's back. So this is a pretty intense quad stretch. You can do it against a wall. I'm going to go up against my pole. I'm going to get my, watch out, sweetheart, towel there so I'm not on the bare ground. But you get your knee up against the wall. Unless you have a pole, then you can do a pole. Wall's a little bit better because if you slip off, you know, you're just going to get in the wall. Knee is all the way against my pole, and then I'm stepping the other foot forward. I feel pretty tight here today, so I'm not going to go, actually, I happen to have a couple blocks here, and that's going to help me. To sit up a little straighter. So, first goal is to kind of stretch through the top of my head and get this kind of straight and flat, and then work on bringing the heel or my hip towards my heel, and then eventually coming all the way up. But you're really working on tucking that pelvis under. This is as far as I can tuck because my quads are just tight. You're being a good boy. Yeah, you're being a good boy. I'm actually going to come away from my heel a little bit just to get the front of my hip a little bit more stretched. And then we'll go to the other side. So I come down to my knee and then release that. Other side. So knee is all the way to the bottom of my pole. And I'm going to step that leg forward. Work on extending through the top of my head, tucking my pelvis under, forward, sitting up nice and straight, and then eventually coming to my knee and maybe getting my hip to my heel. As long as I don't feel like I'm going to break my quad. You wouldn't break it. I mean, you know, tear muscle, tear ligament, tendon, whatever. Wouldn't recommend it. It'll take forever to heal. All right, next we are going to move to the glutes. Lots of glute stretches and some ab stretches. All right, I'm slowly going to come out here and tuck that knee under to come out. Glute stretching. We shall start with a seated position. Actually, I changed my mind. We're going to start with pigeon. So, as parallel as you can get your shin to the mat, if you have very flexible hips, that'll be easier for you. I am more of a tight person, so my foot has to come in. I'm going to keep my blocks handy. I'm going to use those. Because what I'm going to do, actually I'll show you the other side first, because I want to show you what to do. This is my tighter side actually. What I'm going to do, and I have little half blocks, but that's okay, we're going to use the full block. Stick it under my booty cheek there, and you can start on your forearms. You can start here, and then work on lifting up through your spine. Holding for a couple deep breaths. I wanted to do this glute stretch before the other ones because we did a little arching with our back with the quad stretch. So we're still doing a little arching, and then we're kind of moving into more of a neutral position here. And then the other ones require a forward fold, so a little bit more progression with the back. Nice deep breaths. Try to bring your attention to your muscles and allow them to relax. Hi. I know, it's almost time. It's not time yet, but we got like 10 minutes, okay? You're gonna live. You'll survive. I promise. You're gonna live. You'll live through it, okay? Yeah. You. All right, and then let's switch. So I'm gonna bring my right leg forward now and try to get that shin a little bit more parallel. Stick the block under my hip. I'm going to start up as high as I can go comfortably. Actually, I'm going to move the block because it'll allow me to get a little bit more upright. This side is a little more flexible. And then when you're ready, you can come down to your forearms. A few more deep breaths. All right, we didn't do this on the other side, but we'll do the other side after this. But you're gonna swing the back leg around. Try to get this hip to the ground. So my foot actually comes off the ground when I do that, that's okay. And then I'm gonna grab my top knee with my opposite hand and then twist. That feels so good. Twists are also good for your digestion, fun fact, if you didn't know that. But we're mostly using it to stretch our glute out here. But it's a nice little back stretch too. All right, and then we're gonna switch. So I'm just gonna swing my other leg on top. Now, like I said, my left leg, my whole left side is very tight, so I can't get my hip down unless this foot comes out. So if my foot's back here, my hip doesn't really, actually I guess it kind of does, but this leg is up off the ground. But you want both of your sit bones on the ground. And then I'm gonna grab the top knee with the opposite hand, reach back with the other hand, sit up nice and tall, and then twist away. One or two more deep breaths. All right, then we are going to bring one leg in front of the other. Actually, I'm gonna do my left leg in front first and sit up nice and tall. So you're not like cross-legged with your legs in. your feet are away from your body a little bit. It's gonna get the glutes a little bit better. So we sit up nice and tall, try to keep your back flat and fold forward. And then when you're ready, you can stretch those hands forward. And then we're going to come out and switch. So now I'm going to have my right leg in front of the left. Sit up nice and tall. Make sure there is some space between your hips and your feet. Flat back down as long as I can go. And then I'm stretching those hands forward. Slowly going to walk it out. Now we're going to do a little ab stretch. Especially when I do the upper abs, I like to stretch my abs out. And this is my favorite ab stretch. If you have joined me before, you've probably seen it. So we're going to start in like a tabletop or almost like a child's pose. And then you're really engaging your abs. And then tucking your pelvis under. And then letting your hips drop down. Kind of like a cobra pose. The focus here is on letting your hips sink down, which will stretch your abs. You can let the legs come out a little bit in a mini straddle. You want to keep your shoulders away from your ears, so don't collapse into your shoulders. Your shoulders are strong. If you tend to be hyperextend in your elbows, you can do a little bend in the elbows so you're not locking out your elbows, but you're really focusing on just letting those hips drop. Breathing through it. We'll do one more breath. To come out, you're going to squeeze your abs in, push through your shoulders, tuck that pelvis under, and then push back. Little break here. We're going to do one more. So come up to your tabletop. Tuck your pelvis in, push through your shoulders, bring the hips forward, let them drop down. A few deep breaths, you can let your legs come out a little bit, little straddle. Oh, my nose itches. Hold up. Two more deep breaths, let those hips drop. All right, we're just gonna do some general neck and shoulder stretching. Even though we didn't use these too much today, we're just gonna roll the head side to side because it feels good. And we're going to do this one because it's good for our posture. Hands behind the head, chin down to your chest, lift, open your elbows. I'm thinking about doing a video and then bring it forward on some good postural exercises because one of my friends, she's a little kyphotic. To be honest with you, like a little kyphosis is like the hunchback that a lot of people get as they like this position. So I'm thinking about making a video because it's obviously a common problem. A lot of people have a problem with their posture. Different exercises to improve posture. This is definitely one of my number ones. Anything where you're strengthening your rotator cuff in your shoulder, upper back muscles, and then stretching your chest will help with your posture. So I think I'm going to work on a video over the next couple weeks. I do have a glute workout I made the other day that I haven't edited yet that I'm going to post too. Okay, that felt pretty good. We're going to roll out the wrists, and then there was something else I wanted to do. I guess we should stretch the hamstrings since we stretched the quads, right? Yes. So for hamstring stretch, we're just going to put one leg in front of the other. If this is hard, I'm pretty flexible with my forward folds. You can always have yoga blocks or something here, a chair. And you want to start with a flat back and square hips. So square hips means that this is open hips. Square hips is bringing the back hip forward so your hips are even. Flat back here. Take a deep breath in. And then you exhale and let it round forward. And you will feel that in your hamstring. And then you can even do little pulses here with your hands. And then we can even twist a little bit. Because why not? All right, and then we're gonna switch legs. So you bring the other leg forward. Same thing if you need your blocks or a chair, whatever you want. Bring the back hip forward so your hips are squared. Extend through the top of your head, big breath in. And then exhale, fold over that leg. And then from here you can do your little pulses. Nice deep breathing. And then let it turn towards that leg. And before you get up, we're going to bring your back leg forward. Again, you could be up on something if you need to. And then we're just going to bend and straighten one leg at a time for an extra little hamstring stretch. And then you can grab your elbows and rock side to side, stretch out your back. Now we're going to do a little spinal roll up. And if you want to make it a little challenging, you can always add a little weight. And if you're hyper flexible with me, like me with the forward bending, then you can stand up on something so you get extra range of motion going forward. But we're not going to worry about that too much right now. So starting at the base of my spine, I'm going to start tucking and then stacking my vertebrae one at a time, very slowly. It's actually a very good exercise for back health. Alrighty then. Let's see, we got any more comments? No. Okay, so that was my core and glute workout. Tomorrow I go for my swim. On the weekend I'll be at the gym. So I will probably be back Monday or Tuesday a little bit. I don't usually work out this late in the day, but you know, I was lazy. So here we are. So I'll be back probably Monday or Tuesday between 10 and 12 Eastern time for the next workout. Thanks for joining me. Leave me a comment if you do this workout, what you think. I'll see you in the next one.